All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Seven a.m. in the Mile High City on this Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. I was thrilled yesterday. America is back. No compromises. President Trump, along with Defense Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, calling out the fat woke generals dragging down our fighting force and vowing to purge the Pentagon of divisive DEI nonsense. The left losing their mind over yesterday's speech, but I thought it was perfect. Exactly what this country needs. Billy and I are going to discuss this hour and want to hear directly from you as well. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line at 720-819-5115. We're also going to talk with Victor Marks a little bit later in the 8 o'clock hour. He's got a big announcement today regarding the governor's race next year.
Oddly, not about Hunter S. Thompson investigation.
Right.
Evidently, it's a priority now, strangely enough.
Actually, things that will matter.
Yes, weirdly enough.
Victor Marks join us at the 8 o'clock hour. Plus, the government shut down, and I still had to get out of bed. What is going on? All right, now it's time for news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, 53, partly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 79 or 80 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
But this was all unnecessary. This was all done to satisfy their left political base and Schumer's fear. I mean, this guy is somebody who is running scared, obviously, every single day from AOC and the
Senate Majority Leader John Thune. The government is partially shut down after Congress failed to approve a new spending bill.
The other, lefters that he has to answer to. And what you're seeing, at least in, every day now in the Senate, is his reactions and the way he's going about the business of the Senate. In this case, shutting down the government. And it's up to the Democrats. I mean, I've said this, you saw this earlier. This is our bill. It's very straightforward, funds the government and avoids a shutdown. And now they've blocked it on 2 votes. We're going to have another vote tomorrow, and they'll probably try and block it again.
So we'll see what happens today. The government last shut down in 2018 and lasted 35 days. Colorado Republican Jeff Hurd says the Democrats chose politics over common sense. Another GOP rep, Gabe Evans, blames the Dems for the shutdown. Airlines say it could slow flights as air traffic controllers and security officers will be forced to work without pay. They'll get paid right after it ends. Turning Point USA held its first event in Utah since the Charlie Kirk assassination in Orem. Security was high for Tuesday's event at Utah State. One supporter had a question for the governor of Utah.
My name is Andrea, and my question goes out to Governor Cox. It's no secret that you and Charlie did not historically see eye to eye. There are multiple instances of Charlie calling you out for refusing to protect women's sports back in 2022, and even going so far as to say that you should be expelled from the Republican Party. Since Charlie's assassination at Utah Valley, you've seemed to change your tune about Charlie. How has Charlie Kirk's death personally impacted you?
Yeah, thank you. So, you know what? I don't know that my tune about Charlie has changed. I've learned a lot from Charlie over the years. That might surprise you. And I would hope that Charlie's tune, if I had an opportunity to talk to him today, might have changed a little bit about me. We've had an opportunity to share here. You brought up one very important one.
And he goes on for about 4 minutes. Very interesting conversation.
That's a fantastic question, by the way.
Yeah.
Well done.
No doubt, man. No doubt. These young people are pretty amazing. Yeah. They really are. There was a bomb threat at Utah State. That was not the bomb. They detonated what they thought was a bomb right before the Turning Point event. So that was interesting. And then, lover or hater, the rubber meets the road. And it may be today. Who knows? Candace Owens issues a challenge to a few higher-ups at Turning Point.
I'm going to state this, and I'm going to challenge Turning Point USA executives to issue a very clean statement saying that I am lying if this is not true. About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion could happen? It's a yes or a no.
She feels like there's much more to the assassination.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's a no. In part because I was reading a letter that New York Post had that came from Charlie Kirk to Netanyahu.
Yeah, I read it also.
I don't get that sense that he was abandoning Israel at all. He had some comments with regards to their strategy and how young people in America, like they weren't winning the battle in the public square with regards to ideas, and so Israel needed to kind of step it up a little bit. And he gave some advice, but what?
Yeah,
he
was critical. He was more critical of Israel. I think the last 2 months, maybe 3 months, as you mentioned there. And the letter is interesting. So, I look at everything. I don't trust anyone, and I like to see everything. I know the conspiracies are flying all over the place. But she issued this. We'll see what Turning Point does. It will be fascinating to see if they even answer her. And she will continue. But, remember, they were close and they remained friends. Not close friends recently, but she knows everything about what goes on in that world. So it's fascinating to listen to. Baseball postseason is underway. The Tigers took Game 1 over the Guardians in the American League Wild Card Series, and the Cubs beat the Padres in the first game of their National League Wild Card Series at Wrigley. The Red Sox over the Yankees, and the Dodgers beat the Reds. And for Jeff, new addition was great, man. Bobby Brown, Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill. Come on.
The old guys, I'm getting the text messages too. They're like, Jeff doesn't know who Wally Cox is. No, I don't know who Wally Cox is. I don't know who these bands are either. Sorry, I haven't reached 50 yet.
Now, Mike Douglas, the only Mike Douglas that I know. Now, I think Billy said, I don't know the sitcom actor.
Yeah.
I don't
Actually,
know.
Not a sitcom. He's a talk show host.
Yeah,
Mark Crowley helped us out with that. He's like, he's the predecessor.
No doubt.
Yeah, for Phil Donahue is the Mike Douglas show. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He was the afternoon talk show host, and this one was interesting.
Rock group for you, Tony. This is their latest album, which I'm going to show the camera right here. But before we see them perform, I want you to meet one of the members of this act close up. Here from KISS is Gene Simmons.
And then Gene Simmons comes out, and Mike Douglas is a straight-laced talk show host. So, yep, Mike Douglas was a talk show host. And he could have been a sitcom actor also. Or he could be a comedian. Who knows? 52 in Westminster, 50 in Arvada, 53 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue one more time. Come on. Something's wrong with our line.
That's fantastic.
Or we need, we need something like that every time our lines go
and
down.
apologies for everybody that had to listen to Blake and I sing there. So sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know you're eating. I'm sorry.
Well, you sounded
Oh,
really
God, no,
good,
I'm horrible.
actually.
I'm horrible.
No, you sounded pretty good. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Beautiful weather to end September, and the first couple of days of October look pretty good as well. Mostly sunny to partly sunny. Temperatures in the upper 70s, lows tonight near 50, and highs 70s to the lower 80s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Slight chance of an isolated shower or two today, likely dry Wednesday and Thursday. Weather's a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump giving a speech yesterday at Quantico, pulling all the military leaders together, and it's the end of wokeness in the military, setting a new path forward, focusing more on your ability to meet your responsibilities, being a fierce fighting machine, and all of the progressive policies that were implemented under Biden no longer the priority. I thought it was well needed. Because I want to take you back and just remind you what we went through under Biden, right? You had diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. In fact, they expanded the chief diversity and inclusion officer roles across the military. Military academies from West Point to Annapolis, Colorado Springs, all integrating DEI training and curricula. Department of Defense promoted extremism training across the force, which basically called out conservatives. You had transgender service members. Biden reversing Trump's ban, restoring the ability of transgender individuals to openly serve. But not only that, the Department of Defense began covering gender transition-related medical procedures, including hormones and surgeries for service members and some dependents. The Biden administration focused on climate change as a national security priority. The Pentagon declaring climate change a national security threat multiplier. Biden directed the military to electrify vehicle fleets, invest in renewable energy at bases, and prepare for climate-related operations. They also funded abortion access and travel. After the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, the Pentagon, under Biden, implemented a policy covering travel and leave for service members seeking abortions. Vaccine mandates. Remember that? The Department of Defense enforced a COVID-19 vaccine mandate from 2021 to 2023. Thousands of service members were discharged or denied promotions for refusing the vaccine, leading to lawsuits and accusations of ideological purges. And then LGBTQ pride recognition. The Pentagon officially marked Pride Month with events, statements, recruiting campaigns. Military recruiting ads featured same-sex families and soldiers with progressive personal backgrounds. And then the criticism that the real threat facing America was domestic right-wing extremism. So this was all under Biden's leadership of the military, and recruitment numbers plummeted. In some cases, the Army missed it by 25%. So you're implementing all these progressive ideologies, your recruitment numbers are falling, and then when it comes to actual military work, you have massive disasters like the Afghanistan withdrawal. So the military's not working. It's distracted. It's not focused on delivering a fierce fighting force, and instead has all of these progressive policies being forced on it, okay? What Pete Hegseth did yesterday, what Donald Trump did, was set the agenda straight again. Get the military back to being a fierce fighting force. That you need to be physically fit. That you need to be focused on the mission. That we want you to be fierce fighters. And I'm glad that Hegseth pulled them all together. Got them all in the same room. I thought he gave a fantastic speech. Watched it. It was full of energy and focus and determination, and it was a resetting of what the U.S. military should be all about in the first place. Mr. Thorpe, your thoughts?
Yeah, that was a campaign speech. It was a meeting that could have been an email, and they put it on Fox News. We paid millions of dollars to move those people into Quantico, and we could have had them stay home and watch it on TV. There's nothing really new. It was a campaign speech. It was a bunch of rah-rah. And I understand the idea of the wanting to make the correlation between, oh my gosh, these DEI programs, oh my gosh, recruitment fell. I have seen nothing that has verified that. Not saying it doesn't exist. I just publicly, personally have not run across anything that shows a correlation or causation between the two. Okay, correlation possibly, not causation. Don't see any causation between the two. And in fact, in 2024, some of the recruitment numbers were back up. And so again, that would have been during the election cycle. But of course, I'm sure they're all going to go, oh, that's because they were anticipating Trump was coming in. I'm sure that's going to be the excuse for it. But you'd have to show me. You'd have to show me the research behind that, because you'd have to show me the research that it fell because the DEI. I just haven't seen that. It seems like it's just a resetting of priorities.
What do you attribute the fault to?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it. But what I haven't seen is someone saying the fault, and I can prove it is DEI. And so that's what I'm saying.
Hold on.
So wait, the absence of me not being able to point to something doesn't mean the answer is DEI. I'm looking for the answer, and what I'm asking you for is to show me the answer is DEI, rather than this thing happened and this thing happened. They're obviously one caused the other.
What more do you need to see?
A connection.
The connection is the time.
No,
under the Biden administration, Biden administration, recruitment dropped dramatically. Under the Trump administration, they're hitting their recruitment numbers in records. What more do you need to see?
A correlation and a connection. It's the idea that we used to have things like something weird happened in the sky and something strange happened here on Earth. It must have been caused by whatever happened in the sky. We're drawing a correlation that doesn't seem, that so far, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm looking for the proof. I'm not going for the affirmative assumption.
Bill, it's crystal clear.
No,
it's right in front of your face.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Where is
recruitment went down under Biden. Recruitment has gone up, reaching record highs under Trump. And you can't, the guy that's in charge of the military, you can't figure out is impacting those numbers?
Again, here's the idea. I can't figure it out. No, I haven't seen anybody demonstrate that to me. I'm not going to go with the assumption because it fits into one political band or another. That's the issue. I need to see that is the reason that it happened. I'm looking for causation. Correlation isn't causation. So just because the two happened doesn't mean it's because of this. That's it. And so I just am looking for it. Before I make the affirmative conclusion, show me the affirmative conclusion. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. It shouldn't be that hard.
About your thoughts of Biden's leadership of the military.
It was okay. I think that it was better that he shored up some things inside of NATO as far as what we were doing. I think his foreign policy was decent at times. I think there were some things I disagree with. I'm not, unlike most inside of the red hat wearing clan, I don't see the problem with the idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because I remember our military being the first to fight against segregation. And so they've always been sort of on the forefront of inclusion and acceptance. So I didn't find that unusual, because the idea behind the military wasn't about separating people into groups. It was about taking a group of people and getting them into an amalgamation of a fighting force. It always was about stripping
but that's
down
not
barriers.
DEI.
Hang on.
DEI is racism.
Is it?
100%.
How?
100%.
How? Tell me.
Because it
Help me understand that.
advances people based upon their skin color.
Not necessarily. So only because their skin color? So there are people in the military that got promoted only because of their skin color, not because of merit, not because they actually fulfilled the qualifications.
That was the whole point of the speech yesterday. We're getting back to merit only with regards to advancement in the military. And DEI was not saying that race is the only thing, but it was making race a contributing factor to your advancement. So it was just racism.
No, it isn't just racism. That's not just racism. Just racism is I dislike you simply because of your race. When you say that it is a contributing factor, it doesn't mean just racism. That's one of many other components.
What
it's not just racism.
What is it then? If you're making decisions based upon somebody's race, what is that if it's not racism?
I think it's a component of the decision-making process, and it can be
based
both
upon
about
race.
It's
racism.
That's not the only thing. No, that's not. You're being way too black and white with this. But let's go back to you are. Yeah, I mean, it's the idea that you've said because this is one of the components in decision making, that means it has to be the only component in the decision making. That's just reductive.
No, I'm saying
you're just being reductive.
If race is determinative with regards to any aspect of someone's advancement, it doesn't have to be all of it. It doesn't even have to be the primary of it. But if it is any iota of somebody's advancement, it is racism.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. I think it's too reductive in the actual process and the ideas, because sometimes diversity could actually be a positive, and there could be other reasons for it. But that's okay. And another reason, and the other thing that I thought was...
But you're being advanced because of your skin color, in some capacity, or held back because of your skin color. If it's a contributing factor,
not just in general. That's just piece of the puzzle. Yeah. You should take all of the pieces of the puzzle into consideration. Yes, you should. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you just as a whole person.
Why wouldn't you? Because I thought we were getting to a place in a society where we said we want to judge somebody on the content of their character.
Yeah, but you're missing the rest of the paragraph that's around that. But again, the idea that the Secretary of Defense talking about we're only going to put people in charge and advance them based on their merit, he doesn't have the resume of 60% of the people with all the stuff on their shoulders and their chest in that room. And yet he's talking about merit. I'm just saying that as irony, not using it as a point of argument.
Sure.
That is thick irony. Thick irony that he's standing there in front of that group saying that people are being supported, but they're being promoted based on merit. The dude that was recently a weekend host on Fox News and
that's dismissive of his actual military record.
Yes, compared to the other people he was speaking to, yes, absolutely, yes. And that's funny that he's doing it, but it's a political speech. That's it. It's
not political speech.
Yes,
it's a resetting of what the military should actually be. Because here's what you get, and you heard it from Mr. Thorpe's argument, that the military was this great place where we were able to fight segregation, for instance. Okay? Wonderful. And we built people into cohesive fighting units based upon merit. While the rest of the country was trying to determine that you could use this drinking fountain or that drinking fountain or sit on this bus or use this door, whatever, based upon your skin color, the military was going, we don't care what your skin color is. We are going to mold you into a fighting unit, and we're going to go kill threats to the United States. That was the whole point, okay? Then what you got under DEI was an effort to bring race back into the conversation, that we are going to label you based upon your race. We're going to make determinations going, there's not enough of this skin color here. There's not enough of this skin color there. We need to move things around. We got too many men here. We got too many women there. It was an exact rejection of that idea that we mold people into fighting units regardless of their race or gender.
Do you have any proof that people were moved around or placed in these groups based solely on their sex, skin color, or sexual orientation?
Yeah, I think there's probably lawsuits around it. But that's the whole point of DEI.
No,
that is
proof
like
of that,
literally
though,
the definitional point of DEI. It is looking at the makeup of your fighting unit, for instance, and going, you don't have enough of this skin color.
No, that's not the point at all.
Of course it is.
No, it isn't. No.
What is
that's
the
not
point
it.
of DEI?
It's to look at and to take into consideration diversity, equity, inclusion inside of a workspace, an organization, or whatever.
Someone's race.
But
We're taking into consideration someone's race?
Here a sec.
How is
Hold on.
that not racist?
Because racist is being prejudicial and being against someone. When you're taking it into consideration and making it part of the entire whole, it's not racism. Because the racism is saying that because you look this way or have this type of ethnicity, I'm going to reject you flat out. It's exactly the opposite. The idea of diversity and equity and inclusion is to take that as portion of it. What you're looking at is you seem to be under the belief that DEI is the only decision-making process. That the only reason we make this... No, that's how you're describing it. You just said, Jeff, you just said that because of DEI, we were moving these people all over the place. That because... That's exactly what I just said, that DEI is the only plank of the decision-making process. That's what you just said.
If race is part of the consideration, that is racism. I don't like we run out there and go, oh, we desegregated the military. We created this great fighting force that was based upon merit. Look how great we were. And then by 2021, 2022, we're analyzing units based upon their race? And saying, well, you don't have enough black people in this. It's too white. That's just racism. All right. We'll get to the phone calls and texts. Let's talk Guy Rees here. We've had a great experience working with Guy Rees. They have locations all throughout the Denver metro area. They provide fantastic personal design consultation and have an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. We walked in, got a chance to sit down with the designer. They helped us think through everything to enhance the look and functionality of our home. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Guy Rees has the solution. Their designers are the experts, and they can help with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come to you. They bring paint samples. They bring shutter samples, blind samples, decor samples. They'll bring it all out to your house so you can see what it looks like in your home. You can get the same expert advice right in your home that we got. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit Guy Rees to schedule your in-home consultation. That's Guy Rees, GUIRYS.com, GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Guy Rees. You'll be sure to thank me. All right. Phone calls are hot. Text messages are hot. Join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. We're talking Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump's speech before the military leaders yesterday. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. The phone line's hot. The text messages are hot. We're debating Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump's speech yesterday before the military leaders. Was it a political speech? One text messenger, 0459, saying, none of those people in the audience respect Captain Bone Spur Stinky Pete, neither of whom have ever been advanced in the military on merit, while preaching to an audience about how they should be advanced on merit. They are actually signed up and worked their way up. The speech showed how the act is getting old and the people are tired of it. On the other hand, 5556, lowering the standards is one of the main elements to the diversity work. Let's see, there was another one here that was a good one on the goodness. We have so many. I'm having a hard time keeping up with it. Here it is. 1036. In the military under Biden, we were absolutely separated based on race, sex, and religion. Literally put in different rooms and given different training. Yes, I could name a dozen senior leaders that were promoted solely on their demographics. And yes, there are hundreds of DOD-wide surveys that say people left or didn't join because of DEI in the military. Under Trump, we win wars. Let's go to the phone lines. Dave in Divine. Good morning, Dave. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Dave, we got a rough connection, brother.
Yeah, I tell you what, call us back. We're going to hit another phone line. Give us a call back in. I'll make you first when you call back in. I apologize about that one.
Let's go to Barney, Denver. Good morning, Barney. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Yeah, Dave, your phone service sucks. But I want to say something about Victor Marx before I set Billy straight on the military. When you guys interview him, you won't let me call in. I think that guy, if you've got a lot of money to spend, he's going to lead a lot of money. And all I know, you guys really slap the handgun out of your hand when you've got it held his face. I can't remember what they call that, but that's who this guy is. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the guy sticks a gun in your face and he literally slaps it out of their hands and has it in his hand. It was in a Denzel Washington movie. Anyway, doesn't matter. The guy's awesome. He really is. His story is neat. But, Billy, if you want to drive a military – first off, I have zero military experience because they wouldn't let me in. They thought I was too goofy, I guess. But – if you want to drive one of those guys nuts, you tell them that you flew a C-17 in Vietnam. They didn't have C-17s in Vietnam, but I know it drives my brother nuts when I tell them this. The military is a special animal. It's different. None of this touchy-feely, lovey-dovey touch crap works. When you go into basic training, that drill, you need to think that drill instructor can literally rip your head off. And kill you. Basically, there needs to be some fear. You cannot have all this. If you want to come to work in a dress in the military, you really don't belong in there. You're a hazard. Now, I would disagree with Jeff. Jeff DI was also promoting women, which I guess you could say, I don't know, that's not racism, but it's wrong. If you're the guy, if you're a man, woman, I don't care I don't care what you are. If you're the best qualified, you go. You know, you don't have to be in the Navy SEALs and have arms like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, a lot of the guys with little twig arms are pretty bad dudes. So it's not like the image that everybody, it's just it's a special breed. And all this touchy-feely, we have destroyed the military with that. All these touchy-feely generals, Martinelli, and I do not like Pete Hegseth, but I think he's the man for the job. I think he's slimy. I think he's kind of gross, but I think he's the man for the job. You need somebody in there gross and disgusting that's going to clean this out. Because out of all the government departments, yeah, the military can do it right, but God, you guys, the Pentagon is full of disgust and waste and fat and just junk that we don't need. But I think it's great. Damn right you should be able to do a pull-up at 64 years old. If you're a general, I don't give a hell who you are. You should be able to do what the average, you're not going to be super Joe, super whatever, but you ought to be able to do the bare minimum, period. Woman, man, child, dog, cat, I don't care what it is. And Eisenhower figured it out like right now. You've got black guys coming in to save white guys' rear ends in war, you're damn right you're all going to live together and you're all going to get along. He figured out long before our country did. 30 years, really, before our country did. So, I don't know. This guy has got it right. Billy, I'm sorry, but sometimes some of us just got to shut up and let the pros take care of this. And the guys, the military has been, the Army has been so corrupted, so wussified. I think the Russians look at us and they think, like their stupid little ad with that cartoon with the girl that had two mommies. Christ almighty, you're talking about the United States Army, and that's the best you can do? A cartoon for a recruitment ad? Trust me, Billy, the recruitment is going to be way up with this guy, guarantee it. Like I said, don't like Pete Hegseth, but I think he's the right man for the job. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it. Did you hang up on me?
No, we got you. Billy's trying to manage the phones because you're kicking them off so hot, Barney. Bill, thoughts to what Barney said?
I missed portions of it because I was talking to somebody else there.
The wussified Army. The Army has been wussified.
In what way, though? Is it I'm looking at?
Because the recruitment ads are cartoons featuring two moms.
Okay. Does
Billy,
that mean,
the military.
I don't understand.
Billy, the military, if you want it to work, when you walk through that door and they shave your head, they don't care what your mommy did to you or your daddy did to you or where you grew up. They don't care if you came from a billionaire's family or
so Barney, explain to me why then you're mad about an advertisement that has two mommies in it. Why is that what's making you mad then?
Because it was stupid, and you're not going to recruit people
I don't understand.
by a cart.
You mean?
Billy,
all right, wait,
Billy,
hang on. Wait. Hold on, Barney. Are you saying that someone that has two moms would never have the ability or the desire to join the military?
Absolutely not.
Okay, then I understand. So tell me why. So tell me
why does it become the point of recruitment? No, you can use anything to recruit somebody. Why is their mom's relationship with another woman become a point of recruitment?
What do you mean by a point of recruitment? Are they saying?
Put it in an ad.
Well, hang on a sec. Hold on a sec here. Wait, hold on. So if we had a mom and a dad in the advertising, you guys would have the same complaints? No, it's just no. Yeah, here's the thing. Barney, this is the point. Barney, this is the point that because the advertising reflected how society is, that yes.
Because why is it in an ad? Who cares what? No one cares what my family structure was if I'm joining the Army.
Wait,
it's be all you can be. Let's go kill bad guys.
I know, but
the point was
you guys are missing the point.
No, the point was you included that in the advertising because you were virtue signaling. Go ahead, Barney.
No, the issue is Barney. The issue is y'all have your DEI antenna up, and you're so triggered by anything that you don't think should reflect what you thought America looked like in the 1950s. You guys lose your crap. The issue is this is an ad. No, Barney. This was an advertisement that reflected other families in this country, and that maybe the parents could be proud, if I'm remembering the ad, could be proud of what their kid does. That's it. Unless you think that people that are raised by two moms can't join the military.
Virtue signaling. Barney, go ahead.
No,
please.
it's just about reflecting what society is.
Let Barney talk.
Listen,
you have a lot of time to talk.
If you're going to run ad, if you want to recruit these guys, do a fly-by-by with an F-35 or something. You want people to go in there, do something good for their country.
That's not how advertising. That's not Barney. That's not the advertising motive. Barney.
In the military,
Barney.
They strip you down.
Barney.
They strip you down. They
Barney.
don't care, man.
That's irrelevant to the advertising. Hang on a sec, Barney. The advertising.
Billy.
Wait, Barney, please let me finish. The advertising is most effective when it reflects the conditions that someone else finds themselves in. And the idea being problem solution is the most basic form of the advertising and marketing. The idea being there's someone like me that has a similar problem. Look, there's the solution. There's the option. I'm going to do that. The reason the two moms existed in the ad was because we have families that have two moms. I'm sorry that's hard and gets everybody else hurt about it.
But you're missing. I don't think it's a problem that you have two moms. I don't think it's a problem.
You were all mad about it a second ago.
Only if you think you're going to walk in the military and you're going to get treated different. Nobody gets treated different in the military.
Where in the advertisement, Barney, tell me where in the advertisement it said because you have two moms, you're going to be treated differently in the military.
It was our cartoon.
Where?
A cartoon.
Where did it say that? Barney, you're drawing a conclusion. Where did it say
Billy,
that?
I don't care about her two mommies. I really don't. Listen,
Yeah, you
I
did.
promise
You're the
you
one
I
that
don't
brought it
care
up.
about her two mommies.
You're the one
Billy,
that brought it up.
I want
care a
that
lot about
guy.
it.
Look,
care a lot.
even the guy, even
You're mad
Mr.
about
Joe,
it.
Come on, let him
Joe
finish.
Tough Guy, Billy, even Mr. Joe Tough Guy. Let's go back to Tillman. Tillman was probably not a very good. He didn't work well with others. Let's just go with that. And let me go back. If you want to talk about DEI, that helicopter, because I'll give you a little credit, but that helicopter that crashed into that plane in Washington, all over the Potomac, whatever airport it was going into, Ronald Reagan or wherever, that woman, first off, probably had no business flying that aircraft. 500 hours or whatever she had, that's a joke. But second off, the military, you're going to really do training missions in one of the busiest airports in the country? You're stupid. You're dumb. But the fact is, get this thing back to what it's supposed to be. You break things and you kill people, and you put the fear of God in every stinking little liberal dictator that wants to take you down. I don't care about the two moms. Neither does the military.
You called about it, Barney. I appreciate the phone call, but you called about it. You're mad about it. You're absolutely upset about it. You're the one that brought it up in the advertisement. And if we want to talk about break things and kill people, then you really got to take a long, hard look at Trump's speech as well there. Because who is he saying is the target to break things and kill? Who are the targets that he put out there? But again, going back to the DEI, the fact that the two mommies appeared in the advertisement is because it's reflecting the Society. It's basically reflecting
virtue signaling.
No, it's not virtue signaling at all.
100%.
No, not in the least. No, no more so than when you saw minority people start appearing in McDonald's advertisements. No, because those people also go to McDonald's. People that have two mommies also sign up for the military, so it's reflecting society. It has nothing to do with virtue signaling. But because your DEI radar is up, yes, it makes you mad. That's okay that you're mad about the wrong thing. Can't help that. But that's how advertising works. It's just how it works. Sorry.
All right, we'll continue. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. We're talking Trump. We're talking Hegseth. Historic speech yesterday. I thought it was fantastic. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're talking Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump speech yesterday. I thought it was fantastic, a resetting of the military to get it focused on a meritocracy, on delivering just pure merit, a fierce fighting force. Others saying, these are the two guys that are going to tell us about meritocracy? Come on, let's go to Chris Conifer. Good morning, Chris. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you? What's on your mind?
Oh, I just want to tell a little story. I was attached to 34380A, getting deployed over Saudi Arabia, and I was a 60 gunner on the RSOP team, and the RSOP team goes out before the rest of the battery to secure the area where the launchers come in and set up. So the unit goes out 5, 7, 10 days before the rest of the battery, and multiple times, including leadership, I had, I'm not taking anything away. You deserve a role that you deserve. You earn it. You could do the physical attributes. Thank God, Pete. Heck yeah, Pete. But I had other teammates that were females attached to us, and every 3 days the females had to go back for feminine hygiene. Well, how does that work with a forward unit that loses their leadership every 3 days? And that's just the start. I mean, I got passed over for promotions and stuff, and it is real, and it's sad, and I'm just very happy that Pete not only is doing it, but he had the nerve to stand up there and tell us to our faces. I love it.
Chris, a lot of the complaint about that speech yesterday was, well, this could have been an email. Did everybody have to fly in? I think when you are resetting the standards for an entity as critical as the U.S. military, and you want it to be crystal clear, you want the top brass in the room, and you want to do it face-to-face. Your thoughts, Chris?
Oh, I completely agree with you. And you look everything from the business world on through, face-to-face communication, interaction is way better than, your emails or, video conferencing or whatever. There's nothing better than the face-to-face contact.
Chris Conifer, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the phone call, and thank you for your service.
Yeah, we all love those large lectures that we had in college. That was definitely the most efficient and the best teaching you got when you're in a room with hundreds of other students and the guys down at the bottom lecturing. Yep, that was great.
Let's go to Tony in Littleton.
That couldn't have been a Zoom call. Yeah,
Tony,
absolutely.
You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I'm a little troubled by this because I've read several different articles where generals and the admirals had confided, anonymously to reporters, and they were shocked. They were shocked by both of them, and our current military. I think of Israel. I mean, women have served there and are required to serve there, and they do effectively. And in our own military, I think people have this misunderstanding of what most of our fighting is about. We've been fighting. In the Navy's been fighting now the last 2 years because of the entanglement of Israel's got going on. And those ships are loaded with women in those roles.
Should they have different standards when it comes to combat?
No,
roles?
I've read that women have to perform at the same level. And I'm sure that frontline soldiers, the Army, those standards are probably very hard for women to hit, but they have to hit those roles if they want to be in a combat position in the Army. But where women are most populous in the military is in the Air Force and the Navy, where it's technical and they need the smartest people they can get. They're
I don't think
operating
anybody's
machines.
talking about
They're fighting wars. They're fighting.
Not including
Our fighting is now at hundreds of miles apart, and that's the way most of our fighting against China or Russia would be. It's not going to be in the trenches. And it's silly, and the generals know that, and the admirals know that, and they've got women on their staffs and their teams that are performing at very high levels.
Tony, I don't think anyone's saying we don't want women in the military, and in fact, Pete Hegseth thanks all the women for their service. But if you're getting into combat roles, you want the fiercest fighters. Period. That's it. All right, we got Victor Marx coming up. You're listening to